effort of God. It took a lot of patience. It took a lot of time, 1,694 days. It's a hard thing to have to do, but they did the right thing. And I'm just grateful for that.
Former LMPD detective Brett Hankison found guilty. An emotional Tamika Palmer responding to the verdict last night, saying this verdict is justice for her daughter Breonna Taylor after nearly 1,700 days. Hankison becomes the first LMPD officer to be convicted in the botched raid that killed Taylor back in 2020 in March. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us here at 6:30. I'm Alex Dieterer. A federal jury delivered a partial verdict last night, finding Hankison guilty of depriving Breonna Taylor of her constitutional rights, but not guilty of violating Taylor's neighbors. Our Isaiah Kim Martinez got exclusive video of the former officer after his conviction.
Mr. Hankison, do you have any comment to this?
I don't have any comment.
Are you surprised by the verdict? Did it surprise you at all?
Hankison was quickly driven away. His attorney, John Beard, told us no comment. Hankison is now facing a maximum sentence of life in prison. LMPD responded late this afternoon on social media to the verdict, saying in part, quote, "It is not lost on us that this event forever altered the fabric of our community, and we acknowledge the pain caused by the death of Breonna Taylor." They go on to say, "We as an agency strive to continuously improve. Since the events of 2020, LMPD has evolved and made significant improvements to our training, practices, and policies," end quote. Now, this verdict was shocking to many. Isaiah Kim Martinez was in the courtroom when the verdict came down and reported Breonna's mother, Tamika, left out an audible gasp. Several jurors were even also seen crying. Our Alexandra Goldberg has been following this case, getting reaction to the verdict today, and Alexandra joins us now. And you spoke with several prominent leaders right here in the social justice movement in Louisville. How are they feeling with this split verdict?
Alex, the strongest sentiment that I heard from local activists today is that the guilty verdict is a win for Breonna Taylor's family. Now, remember, Hankison was found guilty of violating Taylor's civil rights, but found not guilty of violating the civil rights of 3 neighbors. That's where the split verdict comes in. I just spoke with Sadiqa Reynolds, who has been a longtime activist in Louisville. She told me there's been so much injustice, you learn to celebrate the wins. So she sees this verdict as a hopeful step forward, one that she says will bring closure to Louisville. I also spoke with Chanel Helm of Black Lives Matter, who said this verdict is not enough. She said accountability needs to begin in day-to-day police operations and not in the courtroom.
We just need folks to understand that by the time something gets to the courts, it is already too late to be trying to hold somebody accountable. What we want folks to know is that you've got to be able to present that ahead of time. Organizing is about building what type of power you want, and it starts with the narrative.
Both advocates say they are awaiting to see what happens during Hankison's sentencing on March 12th, which is the day before the 5-year anniversary of Breonna Taylor's death.
And Alexandra, I mean, we've obviously been following this trial very closely and seeing these impacts right here in Louisville, but those impacts go far beyond Louisville, as we've already seen over these last 5 years. What did local activists tell you today about that?
Well, Sadiqa touched on that point exactly. She said that today, this moment is a big win for justice seekers across the nation, that this is America saying that this is unacceptable. She also thanked several national entities, including the FBI, for continuing to work heavily on this case. She also thanked Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice for their continued investigation.
All right. Thank you, Alexandra. And we will have more on this local reaction tonight at 11. And former Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher, who was mayor when the raid happened, sent us a statement on the verdict. He says, in part, quote, "Last night's verdict can never erase the pain of Breonna's family and loved ones. I know the time this has taken was difficult for our entire city, but it was critical for the justice system to do its work and find accountability." Current Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg responded on social media today, saying in part, quote, "I'm hopeful this verdict brings some peace to the family of Breonna Taylor and our entire community. We still have work ahead, but progress is being made every day to improve public trust and unite our city." And the city is still negotiating with the U.S. Department of Justice on the federal consent decree to oversee LMPD. Hankison will be sentenced in March.